in this lesson we're going to look at how to calculate the area of a circle. Before we do that, we'll look at how the formula is derived. It's never asked for this, but it's quite interesting to see. So firstly, the idea behind this is that if we can fit the area of the circle into the area of the rectangle, then we know the area of the rectangle is length times breadth, and then we can calculate the area of the rectangle to be the same as the circle. So let's see how that's done. So if we drag the pieces into the rectangle, firstly, if we split the circle into these kind of sectors or spliffs, and we try to fit them into the rectangle, they don't really fit very well. It's almost a rectangle, but not really. So what we can do is we can actually make the spliffs smaller and see if that works better. So if I take the top ones here and fit them in, and then take the bottom ones and fit them in, then it's not bad, but it's not great. It's still kind of a bit sticking out the side here. So one more try at it. If I split the sections into smaller parts, and if you drag it over to the rectangle, then we've roughly put the circle inside the rectangle. So if we can work out what the length and the breadth of the rectangle are, then we can get a formula to work out the area of the circle. Now this bit up and down here is really from this point, the centre point, to the outside. So that bit is just the radius here. Now the top bit comes from round here. So that's like half the circumference. Now half the circumference round here is the same as half of pi d. So, but half of pi d is the same as a half of 2 radiuses times pi. So a half of 2 radiuses times pi is just pi r. So now if we look at what the area of the rectangle is, it's pi r, which is the length, times r. And pi r times r is pi r squared. Which leads us into the formula for the area of a circle. The area is equal to pi times the radius squared, i.e. radius times radius. Okay, let's look at some examples here. The first example, find the area of this circle. So all we need to work out the area of a circle really is just the radius. So 3.14 times 7 times 7. And if you type that into your calculator, you'll get your answer. Remember to put centimetres squared because it's an area we're calculating. In this example here, we need to work out the area of the circle. However, we're given the diameter, not the radius. Now we can't use the diameter in our formula because the formula uses r and not d. So we have to firstly calculate the radius. Now the radius is a line going from the centre to the outside like this, which is half the 12. So the first thing to do is write down what the radius is and then use that in your calculation. So 3.14 times 6 times 6, make sure you write the formula down and then just type all of that into your calculator.